What's up, everybody? Welcome to what I think is my first ever video review, and we are going to be reviewing the Carvin TRC200a, or the 400a, depending on which system you get. This isn't going to be a sound test. For that, I definitely suggest checking out Seth Velez's video on these. He did a pretty extensive sound test, A to B to some speakers, and it was a really, really good video, so definitely check that out. The Carvin TRC200a is a far-field powered column array system. We'll go over what far field is here in a minute. It's a 2,000 watt powered column array PA system. It's designed for mobile DJs, bands, weddings, corporate events, basically anyone or anywhere that wants clean professional sound without having to haul around a traditional PA stack. Today I'm going to go over the specs, the tech behind it, how you set it up, why it sounds different than other column system, and who this column system is really for. A little bit of a hint, it's for everybody. This entire system fits inside of a Prius, which is pretty cool. The TRC200a is fully active system, which means that the amp, the DSP, the crossover, all the protection are built right into the speakers. Just like other column systems that you've heard and seen in the past. This one just has some really cool and interesting tech inside of it, which we're going to go over here in just a couple of minutes. You get one powered 18-inch subwoofer that goes all the way down to 37 hertz, which is amazing. It sounds spectacular. And then you get two modular column speakers that handle pretty much everything above that. It's really just a clean, very compact system that sets up fast and looks really, really good. The enclosures are all multi-ply hardwood with Duratec coating. So you're going to get a clean finish that is UV resistant and moisture resistant. So it's really, really cool. Let's get into the specs of the subwoofer here. Like I mentioned, the subwoofer is an 18-inch high excursion driver with a 4-inch voice coil. The size of the voice coil really does matter when it comes to subwoofers. The bigger the subwoofer, the bigger the magnet, the more excursion you can get, the more air you move, the more bass you get. The open air frequency of the subwoofer itself is 35 hertz, and it's enclosed in a box that is tuned to 37 hertz, which is amazing, and the thing absolutely pounds. Like I said, it goes down to 37 hertz, which is real bass, not muddy mid-low bass that you hear in some of the other cheaper systems. And it's not boomy at all. It's nice and tight, and it really hits you right in the chest. The sub has an SPL of 131 dB max and runs at 4 ohms. You also get optional casters that you can install to make it easier to transport and move around. And the footprint of this sub is really, really small. It's about 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. So you get a ton of bass out of a compact, easy to transport subwoofer that doesn't give up driver size. You know, on a lot of the other systems that you see with the 12 and 15-inch subwoofers, they're giving up that driver size for compactness and ease of movement. With this sub and this system, you don't need to worry about that. Let's get into the columns a little bit, which is what I have behind me here. Each column has 9 proprietary Carvin Audio 3.5-inch full-range drivers. Each system has 9, like I said, so with 2 stacks, you get 18 drivers. It's using multiple small drivers instead of a single horn and a mid-bass to give you smoother mids, cleaner vocals, more consistent coverage, and we'll get into some of the cool aspects of these here in a second too. And they only weigh about 25 pounds each, and the subwoofer only weighs about 75 pounds. So all in all, the entire system weighs about what a traditional 18-inch subwoofer is going to weigh, about 100 pounds. 120 pounds, roughly. The columns have what's called constant delivery dispersion, or CDD, which projects to the rear of the venue while averaging levels in the front of the speaker. And it has a wide 120 degree dispersion that covers a big audience. And then has a 10-degree vertical dispersion on each of the drivers as well, which helps with the vertical dispersion, as well as minimizing feedback in reverb-prone environments like, you know, big ballrooms, churches, a stone castle, wherever you might be. The tops really give you smooth mids, super clear vocals, even coverage, and less feedback. Why does the control of these speakers matter? That's really where the TRC system shines, is control. Traditional speakers just kind of spray sound everywhere, up, down, left, right, off the floor, off the ceiling. You know, you get that 90 by 90 or 90 by 60 coverage, which is great for a single box. But if you want to project sound further, you want to get into kind of the line array systems. And with that, you get what's called individual driver steering, which I'm going to show you here in a second as well. This allows each individual driver to keep sound focused on the audience, which increases the output through natural line source coupling, which is when you're able to get each driver coupled to one another so you're not getting, cancellation, phase issues, or anything like that. This just gives you amazing tonal clarity and throws a long way. So instead of blasting sound into the ceiling and on the floor and bouncing it back at you, it keeps the energy where it matters, which is on the people. That's why line array systems sound clean at distances. They use vertical and horizontal steering to minimize phase issues and cancellation, and they're using that tight vertical dispersion to get rid of the cancellation and phase issues. The same technologies in these speakers right here, which is absolutely amazing. This system can throw cleanly over 400 feet. And I had them outside yesterday, and I did a kind of a cool test. I set them up, at the back of my driveway, and then I went to the other side, which is about 125 feet. I had them at 101 decibels at 6 feet, and then I walked back to the end of my driveway about 100 feet away, and it only went down to 94 decibels, which is amazing for an Acala system, especially outside. Outside there's no walls, there's no ceiling, and it can be a challenge for a traditional column system because it's just throwing sound everywhere. The TRC system really pushes that sound forward instead of just throwing it all around the place, which is really nice. It's good to have for outside, and like I said, outside these things sound phenomenal. Inside, they sound even better. The system has 4 built-in DSP modes: live, playback and DJ, speech, and sub only. Live mode is completely flat. There's no EQ. This is the setting that you want to use if you want complete control over the EQ, or if you're using an external mixer, or want to bump up the mids and the bass on your own. That's the one that you're going to use. Playback and DJ adds a small boost at bass and a slight boost at the mids to kind of bring the tightness of the music in. Speech really does do what it says it does, and that's focus on speech. It's tightening the clarity, it removes some bass, and it does some cool stuff where it minimizes potential feedback by pulling down certain feedback prone frequencies. And then sub only mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's just the sub. The internal crossover on this system is 110 hertz, which means that the subwoofer handles everything from 37 hertz to 110 hertz, and then the tops handle everything from 110 all the way up to 18,000. This maintains phase coherence, you get tighter bass, cleaner mids. The overall system itself just sounds really, really good. It's really tight, and it just sounds phenomenal. When using a microphone over music, the microphone cuts right through the music with absolutely no issue. You can hear your vocals and your speech over the music almost like it's 2 separate systems. And I'm not sure how they do it, but it sounds phenomenal. Talking to Joel, who's the president of Carvin Audio, he suggests running the sub all the way open, 100% right at unity, and then the tops around 2 or 3 o'clock on the gain dial. This is going to allow for the best balance and the most headroom. There's a couple different ways you can set the system up. You can set it up as a traditional column system where you use the adapters to screw one into the top of the sub, put one of the tops on, put another pole adapter in, and put the other one on top of it. It's going to give you an 8-foot tower, and that is going to allow you to throw sound as far as you possibly can. It also allows you to individually turn each of the drivers, so you can have one facing off to the right or the left, the other one facing forward. You can kind of cock them both to get a little bit more horizontal dispersion, but no, doing that, you are going to give up some of the overall throw distance. Or you can do what I do, where you put the sub down in the middle, and then you have each of the columns on separate poles. You do this with a very simple speak-on splitter, and it works phenomenal. The warranty from Carvin Audio is very unique. They have a 3-year warranty. If something fails, they'll replace it instead of repair it. The replace first allows them to get you up and running fast by sending you a new component, whether it be a driver, an amp, whatever, and then they'll focus on repairing it and then taking care of that on their end. I haven't heard of any other manufacturer that does this. Typically, you send the amp module in or the driver in, they repair it and send it back to you. Carvin Audio sends you an entire new component. This keeps downtime to a minimum, which means when time matters, you're taken care of, and time is money. So you get that repair done as quick as possible. And unless you buy directly through a dealer, you're going to work directly with Carvin. So you're going to get personal service, typically through Joel, who is amazing, and faster solutions. So he'll get you up and running as quick as possible. My thoughts on this. Many column systems rely on a single high-frequency driver paired with a bunch of mid-frequency drivers. This does a couple of different things. You know, yes, it does give you that traditional three-way system, but it's also disrupting vertical coherence because that horn is going to have a much wider vertical spread than those individual mid-range drivers. That's giving up a couple of different things. You're going to introduce cancellation, and you're going to compromise long throw. The TRC system avoids this by using those individual drivers that are the same. It means continuous coupling and maximizing efficiency while also projecting, like I said, over 400 feet very, very cleanly. I know, Nick, I'm sorry, it is not a three-way system, but I promise you it performs like one. Replacement drivers are readily available on Carvin's website, so if you blow out a driver, you know, at a gig on a Saturday, you hop on their website, they'll ship it out to you, you'll have it the same week. So you don't need to email service or anything like that and have them send you one. You just go on their website, order it, and it's yours. This system is one of, if not the best column system that I've heard in a very, very long time. You know, we think of column systems as your traditional, you know, setup, kind of forget it systems. They sound good, they're easy, but we're giving up a couple of different things. Like I mentioned, we're giving up that throw distance. You know, column systems by nature, they don't throw very far. But we're also giving up some of that coupling and cohesiveness of the drivers. Carvin completely eliminated that with this system, and this system's been out for a while. And the fact that it hasn't gained more traction than it has is kind of surprising. But this is the system that I'm going to be running from now on. I'm replacing my LD Mauis with these for about 95% of my weddings. I can use this system comfortably up to about 225 people. That's where I feel comfortable using this system. Anything over that, I'm going to go back to a traditional, you know, 2 sub, 2 top, or maybe I'll grab another TRC system and then use 2 TRC systems. That's probably the way I'm going to go because right now they're actually having a pretty good deal. So definitely check out their website, carvinaudio.com. The TRC system, they are on sale right now, so you definitely want to grab them before they get a little bit more momentum and then they become harder to get. But yeah, if clarity matters, this is the system for you. I appreciate everybody watching. Sorry I'm not your traditional YouTube reviewer. I'm here just to give you the facts as they are. Maybe in the future I'll get some, you know, better cameras and stuff like that. I won't have to use my laptop, and then we can do some kind of in-house at gig reviews. I'm going to have this system out the next couple of weeks. I'll definitely get some videos of setting up, and I'll do some tonal stuff for you guys. Really doesn't do a lot because, you know, hearing speakers through a phone doesn't really do much for you, but I'll be able to at least show kind of how good they sound at certain aspects, like using the microphone over the music, which is very important to us as DJs. So thanks for watching. Tune in. Like I said, I'll definitely be dropping another video on these speakers here in the future.